Hello and welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Paul Shrimp with Eric Spilligoy. So I spent a couple of days, I think I've mentioned before that my daughter lives in Nashville now, so we spent the weekend and a long extended weekend over there and had a really good time. One meal in particular though, you ever had one of those, you have bread that's like really not just really chewy, like a really chewy roll.
Sure, yeah.
Like I bit into this, it was a Reuben sandwich, it was really good, and then all of a sudden my jaw just went wacko. Like it almost pulled out a joint, and I'm like trying to chew this, and it was the most miserable thing. It was really weird. It took 2 days for it to kind of work back into place. So
it may take us 2 days to do this video.
This is actually the second take because I messed up earlier. My jaw went wacko. So
okay.
We're recovering from that. So a few tidbits in the news. We saw recently that, and we heard rumors of this, that FBN was interested in joining ARA, and apparently that's they've submitted their application, and according to Darren Kopic, it fits all the bylaws, and that's going to be moving forward. So they're kind of putting their money where their mouth is in terms of being good citizens from that standpoint.
Yeah, it's interesting, Paul, because I know when they talked at the Agricultural Retailers Association meeting last year, I thought it was interesting that they were even there presenting, but obviously they have warehouses, it has been pointed out, so there are physical locations. So, I mean, given the criteria to be an ARA member, I guess they do fit. So.
Yeah. I've also heard that they're looking into responsible ag certification as well. So.
Wow.
It's it's getting a little more real than I think maybe some suspected, and we'll have to see where it goes. But again, something to be taken seriously as we move forward.
That'll be a real interesting meeting here in 2018.
You betcha. So I know there's a number of bits of news on the crop protection front, and
yes, got a couple of things, Paul. I know we've been talking about, of course, Dicamba. It comes up almost every video. We found out this week that Monsanto, which had filed a lawsuit against the plant board in Arkansas to do away with their proposed ban on Dicamba application after April 15th, found out this week, Paul, that a judge in the state has dismissed the lawsuit, basically saying that the state's constitution provides immunity for the state from those kind of lawsuits, and that kind of protection will extend also to the plant board. As you might imagine, Monsanto says they're disappointed and are considering other legal avenues to follow, but Paul, at this point, I'm not sure what those might be.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm sure that there's something that has been tested in the past, but this kind of control at the state level, usually it's something that, especially in this day and age, I think the feds would probably be hesitant to get involved in anything related to states' rights and probably would leave these things alone, but we shall see, I guess.
Yes, we shall. And of course, I've been on the road a lot, National Farm Machinery Show a couple of weeks ago, and there'll be a Commodity Classic coming up here in another week. And of course, Paul, a lot of the equipment folks are there. Found out this week that John Deere released their projections for equipment sales for ag for 2018. And they were very positive, Paul, for the U.S. and Canada. The company is projecting their sales will be up about 10%. So very good news for the ag equipment folks.
That's interesting. Just in time for their 100th anniversary celebration.
That's right, coming up on March 14th, I believe. So.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some events in the summer as well. So congratulations to them, and hopefully that does ring true, and we see an increase in sales. And I instead of going to Anaheim, have traded in the mouse for a trip to South Dakota Precision Ag Conference in Aberdeen. So I will be there next week on the 27th to see them and to talk to the South Dakota State University folks about the accelerator meeting that we have planned in June, and start a little bit more of the planning on the agenda. And so while I love the folks in South Dakota, it is going to be a little tough to, considering the winter we've had, to miss out on the warm weather. But hey,
very good.
I'm in there pitching.
And I have one other item, Paul. It's a little trivia question to start out with you.
No.
I hadn't warned you about this.
Yeah, thanks.
But what is it that's going to be happening this year in agriculture that hasn't occurred since Ronald Reagan was the president?
Does anything to do with the Farm Bill?
No.
No. Okay. Then I have nothing. What can
You have nothing.
Do tell.
For the first time since 1983, the USDA projections show that there will be more soybean planted in the U.S. than corn this year because of the commodity prices. Projections show about 92 million acres of soybeans will go into the ground in 2018 versus 87.5 million for corn. So, Paul, I know we were teasing how you couldn't say king corn anymore, and we were trying to come up with a way to describe soybean, maybe soybean supreme, although maybe our friends at Taco Bell would object to that because it sounds too much like a breakfast. But nonetheless, it looks like when you're driving through the country this year, you're going to see more soybean in the field than corn.
You think way too much about this stuff.
Trying to entertain.
Well, it is interesting. You know, it's hard to imagine us being here after all the, you know, in '08 and all those years of just corn off the charts that we're back to this. But, you know,
There you go.
you know, you want agriculture to change, just wait a couple of years.
Like
Just like the weather in Cleveland. Well, thanks for, that's it for this edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.